Hello team, welcome to the DevOps training. Today we will discuss about continuous deployment and continuous monitoring. In the previous sections, we have already discussed the first three phases of DevOps lifecycle. Today we will complete the fourth and fifth phase, which is continuous deployment and continuous monitoring. So first we will start with the continuous deployment. Continuous deployment is basically the combination of two parts. First is the configuration management and second is the containerization. Before discuss about the configuration management and containerization, first understand the continuous deployment in layman terms. When we are saying the continuous deployment, then we are talking to deploy our service across all the servers which are running. Either it could be the cloud machines or the hosted machines. When we are releasing our application on servers, then basically this is called the application deployment. So continuous deployment will take care your application deployment on all your servers. The servers could be the QA environment, they could be the performance environment, they could be the production, or they could be something else like testing environments or some other environments, right? So continuous deployment will be responsible to deploy your fully qualified application on the production or performance or any other environment which is intended. Again, continuous deployment is a part of configuration management and containerization. First, we will discuss about configuration management. Configuration management is all about to maintain the configuration of your servers which will be compatible to your application requirement. So configuration management is basically, we can understand the configuration management with these four bullet points. First one is to establish and maintain application functional requirement and performance. So basically on our all servers where my application is being deployed, I will configure these servers so that they server will basically justify or they will fulfill my application's functional requirement plus performance requirement, so that the minimum configuration which is required to set up my application will be done with the help of the configuration management, right? The second phase about the releasing deployments to the server. So basically we will release the same deployment across all the servers. This is the work of the configuration management. If you are going to release your product 1.8 release, then 1.8 should be released on all the servers. They could be in the phases or they could be in a single go. Second one is about scheduling updates on all servers. It means if you have something to update on the servers, if you have some kind of security patches, some kind of image changes, some kind of operating system upgrade, some kind of some related service upgrade, then that should be done upgrade on all the servers. This is the job of configuration management. And the last thing which we will take care in the configuration management is about the configuration consistency. It means all the servers, all the hosted machine where my application is being deployed or is going to be deployed should all have the same configuration. They should all have the same operating system, same kind of RAM, same kind of resources in terms of the hard disk, same kind of resources in kind of any programming languages version, same kind of resources in kind of any tools, right? The second part of the continuous deployment is about containerization. Containerization is basically a set of tools which will maintain the consistency across the environment. So basically, with the help of the containerization, we will packet all the dependencies of my project in a single container, right? And we will deploy the same container across all the servers on my on which my application is going to execute, right? So let's understand it with the simple example. You have some kind of application which is required Java 8, which requires Gradle 1.3, which requires some other third party jars, suppose the rest assured jar 3.6, and you can say the caching server Redis server 6.3, the analytics server Stack Spark cluster 6.1. They require some authentication service 4.0. So containerization is something in which we will kept all the tools which is required to run my application in a single container, and we will deploy that particular container on all my servers. This is called the containerization. So don't worry about these things if you are not able to relate these things right now. When we will go through the Docker part, you will understand all these things. So Docker is the first containerization tool in the market, right? Scheduling update on all the server is also the part of containerization, which means if suppose in my release 2.6 I have updated my authentication service from 4.3 to 4.4, then all the containers which is running on all the servers should be updated with the authentication server 4.4 version, right? Maintain configuration consistency across all the server is the part of the containerization. Now we will discuss about continuous monitoring. Continuous monitoring is the monitor of the system performance. It is all about monitoring your server, monitoring your application from the performance point of view. So suppose your application is being deployed on a machine which have the configuration like 32-bit GB RAM and 8-core CPU and 500 GB hard disk. Your application definitely are producing some kind of logs which is being stored on the hard disk. Your application have some kind of RAM requirement. Suppose your application is running on 8 GB Java heap and your application is being configured to uh, execute a load of 10 million transactions in a particular time frame, right? And you are getting more than that particular transaction on your application, so definitely it will decrease the performance of your application. And suppose your log files are basically generating too frequently and you are not rotating them, then it will basically fill up your hard disk very rapidly, and you have some kind of memory leakage issue in your application, then it will crash your RAM. So basically continuous monitoring have some kind of tools like Dynatrace, Nagios, which will continuously monitor your application as well as your server health check. What kind of memory is being used, what kind of operating system is being used, what amount of CPU is being used by your application, what kind of RAM is being used by your application, right? So these all things are basically comes into the continuous monitoring. In the continuous monitoring, we will monitor the product overall performance at different stages, right? This is the very critical phase of the product life cycle. That's all about the continuous deployment and continuous monitoring. So we have discussed all the things about the continuous development, continuous testing, continuous integration, continuous deployment, and continuous monitoring. In the coming lectures, we will learn about the Git, then we will move to Maven, then about the build tool, then we will move to the Jenkins integration server, and in last, we will learn about the Docker. So thank you guys. I hope you like the videos. So if